So all of you can see the screen. If you can see my shared screen, which shows worksheet 31, just give me a thumbs up so that we all can move forward, knowing that technology is not stopping us today. Okay. So we all know the drill, right? So what do we need to do? Let's go through the little house rules that you all know very well, but just to make sure that it applies to me as well, right? So it's a common one to turn on your video, mute your microphone when the class is going on, especially when the teacher is teaching. But if you have been asked to respond, you can always unmute and just shout out the answer. I'm fine with that. You want to ask a question, answer a question during teaching time, you can use the chat function. I can allow you to unmute if it is necessary, share feedback, raise your hand. Okay, all this stuff you know. Okay, you have been using it even in your school Zooms and so on and so forth. Okay, very interestingly, how many of you, where's Miss Ivy? So to you, you come in late and you ask me where's Miss Ivy. I really tell the whole class. I should ask you where were you when it was 11 o'clock? Huh? So to you, where were you at 11 o'clock? Huh? Can't tell me, right? Wi-Fi problems. Okay, so maybe Miss Ivy is also having Wi-Fi problems, so I need to help her. Okay, so as you guys know, you go to school for the last how many years? 8 years plus your kindergarten, 10 years already, 10 years. Oh my God, this is your anniversary. Have you all been going to school for 10 years now? K1, K2, some nursery, then 12 years. 10 years, 2003 to 2023. Yeah, more than 10 years you've been going to school. So you should know that if a teacher is not well, somebody else will come and cover. Yes? So wherever the teacher may be, okay, they may be not well, on leave, urgent leave. Okay, so please take note that I'll be taking over today's lesson. All right. Anything else? Any questions before we start? Okay, we will jump straight into the lesson, but obviously we will have some discussion of the questions, and possibly if I have some time, I want to show you guys some videos, YouTube videos on how to search YouTube videos for science purposes, how to find interesting videos to get the bing enlightenment in your head to say, oh, this is so easy. Why didn't I know this before? Okay, many of you need to use the many technological tools that we have in this time and age. Okay, like you said, you have been to school for 10 years. Can you imagine what it must have been like 10 years ago? Do you think there were this many videos 10 years ago, or do you think there are more videos 10 years later? So do you think a Sec 2 kid like you 10 years ago when you were in kindergarten had this opportunity to learn stuff that you can learn from YouTube or any other video? Huh? No, right? Similarly, can you imagine I'm a poor guy. I probably went to Sec 2 maybe 20 to 30 years ago. There was no such thing as YouTube. But you guys have YouTube and you still don't use it. You use it for all kinds of entertainment purpose, but you don't use for your science. Do you know those people who use it for their science, they're scoring away in the schools? It doesn't matter if it's your school or somebody else's school or some other school. They are scoring because there is this beautiful, other than 88 tuition videos, which I'm spending a lot of time teaching you guys, which you can also click, but you're not clicking. Then you love YouTube. Also have videos you don't want to click. Okay, later I show you what I do with YouTube videos. People ask me questions on science nowadays. I just send them a YouTube video. It's so easy to tell them, and they also love it. Click, oh, watch 2 minutes. Okay, sir, I understand. Thank you very much. Rather than I type. Right? Yeah, okay. So pretty straightforward, especially things like everyday life applications like how does a car function? How does a mirror function? And then I ask you to draw ray diagrams for mirrors to see how the image can get inverted. Hey, how come the image can become smaller? How come the image can become enlarged? Then ask you to draw a ray diagram. You'll be like lost because you don't know what's a ray diagram. A teacher has not taught you how to draw the lines before. And the teacher starts drawing and you'll be like all kinds of lines and you'll be like, how did he do that? Where the line going from? Why is it dotted? Why is it straight? Why is it solid line? Why is it must put arrow? Why is the image represented by arrow? And so many questions. Well, later I'll show you some videos. They'll be like, oh, that's quite simple. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Huh? Okay, so I suppose you have answered all these questions. Yes. Okay, answered yes or no? Okay, very good. So when the question is up, you can put in your answer on the chat. I'll have a look. I know you have already done your worksheet, but it also gives me a validation of who's getting it right and who's getting it wrong. When everybody is wrong, then we can like discuss it. But if only one person is wrong, then I can tell that person, this question is quite easy, you know, the whole class got it right. So you got something to learn here, okay? So you got to pick up that learning point. Guys, don't be disheartened or discouraged if you get it wrong, okay? This is the time you learn to pick up the pieces like, oh, now I know. Okay, then the next time you go to your exam, you'll be like, this is so easy. I've already done it. I got it wrong before. Now I get it right. Where does all the marks matter? In the classroom. Okay. So what's the molecular formula of ethanol? Now you need to know how they draw ethanol as a molecule. I mean, okay, we have drawn very simple molecules before, right? What's this? This is H2. If they exist is this is H2 gas, hydrogen. How about this? Can you type for me? Some will say this is H2O. Some will say it's water. Yeah. Who is right? Who is right? 1, water. 2, H2O. Who is right? 1 or 2? Type me 1 or 2. 1. Bernardo says water is correct. Bernardo says 2. H2O is correct. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Where's 3? This is 3. Both. Okay, so teacher will mark like this. Unless you have been asked specifically, name the compound, that's water, or give the chemical symbol or composition, chemical formula for water. Okay, that's H2O. Formula, like what makes up water. Oh, it's 2 of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen. It's called H2O, then is H2O. So both are correct. So I marked it correct, right? Okay, so similarly, let's do 1 and 2. The name of the compound here is ethanol in this question. And the chemical composition or the formula is C2, or what is it? How do you know? C2 or C3? How many of you got the answer already? Then you can tell me C2 what? I already gave you a clue. There's only one that's showing C2 here. C2 what? H5. Why 5? Why not 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Okay, why 5? Okay, let me show you why 5. Let me look at this. Look at the 2 C's. Every C, based on the periodic table, can attach itself to 4 other molecules. Only 4. Okay, you must go to the periodic table and see like its valence number of how many electrons it has on the outer shell. Then basically, like hydrogen can attach itself to only 1. Can you see? This hydrogen, the water can only attach itself to 1. I'm going to show you with a blue line. Okay, this blue line shows you that it can attach itself only to 1. So it can only go to O. The other H can only go to O. Right? One H can only have 1 line. The other H can only have 1 line. But can have how many lines? O. O itself can have 2 lines. So they can share with 2 people. So that's why they're taking 2 H's. So that means they got the capacity to do 2 bond lines. This blue color lines. But H only have capacity to do 1 line. Every element in the periodic table can attach itself to another element based on its property of how many electrons it has, how many it needs to become stable, and then it will go and attach. And that's when they become stable, and that's when they become molecules. Even if you see H above, let me just go back. If you see the H above, you can see only 1 line here, the one above, the blue line, right? So that's why H has 1 line, the other H also has 1 line, they share, and they're happy. So they move around looking for a line. So let me show you. This is just interesting. So H have one line, only looking for the other partner. Who's this partner? So when they find the other H, they join. Or they could have found a O. If they found a O, but this O goes around with two lines. So that's why O looks for another line. Then it becomes stable. So every element will go around with the sharing capability of 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. So let's go back to carbon here, right at the bottom. How many lines can it have? How many of you can see and type for me the lines that carbon have? You cannot have more than that number. You always have that same number. Carbon. Yeah, Xavier, very good. Carbon has 4 lines. Not like oxygen, not like hydrogen, but carbon has 4 lines. But look at hydrogen there itself. It still has that 1 line. Hydrogen doesn't change itself or mutate to become, oh, now I can accept 10 lines, no, or 4 lines. Because it's in ethanol, it becomes 4 lines. No, it's still 1 line for H. So, since carbon can take 4 lines, so it will take all the H's it can to fill up its 4 lines. 1, 2, 3. Oh, then the other line give to carbon to join like that because it's C2. Then the other side, it has space for 2 more H's. Okay, and you can have just an H here. Imagine I cancel this. I can just put an H here. Okay, now what is this called? Without the OH, okay? There's a name for this. I'm going to write it down. This is C2H. How many? How many H's are there? If I have this H here instead of the OH, I cancel this. I have C2H6. This is ethane. This is another compound, ethane. Okay, this comes under the hydrocarbons family. Okay, next time in chemistry, in secondary 3, you'll be learning more about these. Okay, but I'm just giving a little bit of a precursor to those things. Okay, since they talk about ethanol, oh, they're changing this H. This went away, and this O came in, and O can have how many bonds? Remember, let me use a green color just to show you that O. Remember, we already know that it can have 2 lines, so it can attach itself to one side carbon and attach itself to one side hydrogen, and everything works out. The lines all fit correctly. O has 2, C has 4, H has always has 1, and now this ethane, the same name, has become ethanol, an alcohol group. Every alcohol group has an OH group. Okay, so now this becomes C2H5 because it's replacing one H with a OH group. So now we have ethanol. Okay, now this is a flat 2D diagram on the right. If I draw it as a 3D diagram, then it becomes like the one on the left. Can you see on the left, there are 3 images there? Can you look at it for a while and just digest like, oh, if I see it in 3-dimensional space, it can actually look like this. How many of you have used models like this in class to fit some stems and balls? Okay, they are not flat on a piece of paper like 2D. They are actually 3D, right? So if I can write the name into this, so this is a C, right? Can you see? C2. So this black color is carbon. That's why they put a carbon atom. They label it. If I didn't label it, then I can put the C inside. It's up to you. You can put the C inside. I know, as a teacher, I know C means carbon. Everybody knows, periodic table. Or you label it outside because maybe, oh, teacher, this is black. I use my other color, cannot see. Unless I have a white pen or red pen, I don't have. So then you write carbon atom outside. This is a label. Okay, can or not? Then what about the rest? Oh, there are 5 of the white color ones. Obviously, those are H, H. They must all look the same color, so label the same also. Okay, you can do this also. Okay, and obviously the very different looking one is the oxygen. So you can see it's a bit fragmented lines, but when you write in the exam, nobody is artistic to go and draw until like this on the left side. So you can just draw like the one on the right side. How many of you put me and give me a thumbs up of what I'm trying to say? Real life versus exam drawing. Just like draw me a lion.